Good evening and welcome to Carnegie Town Hall. I'd like to call this meeting to order. First off, I'd like to emphasize a couple of items. Please silence all your cell phones. And in an effort to have sufficient time to hear from audience members, we ask that when you come to the podium, please identify yourself and state your address. Limit comments to 5 minutes, and please ensure you are delivering new testimony to the commissioners. At this time, we will approve the consent agenda. Denise, could you please read items 1 through 7, please?
Yes, sir. Item 1, approval of November 4th, 2015 minutes of regular meeting. Item 2, plats. Item 3, 3677, 2015, rezone from AG Agricultural District to RA2, apartment residential moderate density, RA3 apartment residential high density, C2 commercial neighborhood and streetcar, C3 commercial community, and C4 commercial regional for allowed forms located east of South Veterans Parkway and south of East Madison Street. Item 4, 3776, 2015, rezone from RD1 Twin Home Duplex Residential Suburban District to the RT1 Single Family Residential Traditional District for allowed forms located at 812 South Spring Avenue. Item 5, 3808, 2015, rezoned from the C2 Commercial Neighborhood and Streetcar District to the CN Conservation District for allowed forms located at the southwest corner of West 12th Street and South Sertoma Avenue. Item 6, 3812, 2015, rezone from the RD1 Twin Home Duplex Residential Suburban District to the LW Live Work District and its allowed forms located west of South Greystone Avenue and north of East 69th Street. Item 7, 3672, 2015, preliminary subdivision plan for South Point Addition located at 4200 and 4300 West 85th Street.
Thank you. At this time, are there any objections from the audience on items 1 through 7 on the consent agenda? Staff? Are there any objections from the commissioners? Seeing none, I look for a motion.
Move for approval of the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion passes. Items on the consent agenda, items 1 through 7, have been approved. If you are here for any of these items, you are free to leave. Now we'll move on to the regular agenda. I need a motion to approve the regular agenda in a second.
So moved. Second.
All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All opposed? Same sign. Regular agenda passes.
Item 8, 3804, 2015, conditional use for on-sale alcohol within 500 feet of a sensitive land use located at 3220 South Sycamore Avenue.
Jason Beaver with planning staff. The applicant here is Marco's Pizza. The applicant does plan to open a second location for Marco's Pizza restaurant in one of the existing tenant spaces in the multi-tenant building that is located just east of the new Fairways grocery store. They would like to offer beer and wine as part of their sales at the restaurant. The proposed on-sale alcohol beverage establishment meets the criteria of the comprehensive plan. Further, the applicant should be able to meet all 4 of the above conditional use standards. Wine and beer sales will constitute a small portion of Marco's Pizza's proposed business. And because this application has provided clarity to indicate the location, nature, and extent of the work proposed, staff does recommend approval of this conditional use. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Jason, when we look for input from the public agencies and infrastructure comments, there's a comment from traffic, talks about can the applicant or owner reconstruct/repour the entrance to meet the requirements for arterial driveways. Is that something we should be concerned with, or?
I believe that's just a comment and not part of something you should be looking at. I believe the traffic engineer was looking at kind of just making it known that they could possibly repair that existing entrance onto Sycamore Avenue. I think for some reason it was poured incorrectly.
Had you visited with the applicant in regards to their comment?
I have not, because the applicant here is just a tenant, not an owner of the specific building. The owner would have gotten a staff report. Hopefully he or she, Mr. Mike Waltz had seen that specific comment. But
Thank you, Jason.
Anything else for staff? Thank you, Jason. Is the petitioner here?
That's an old picture.
Please come forward. State your name and address, please.
Joe Lewis there.
Josh Holdinghausen. The address of the business is, my address is 516 South Street, Rapid
Okay.
City.
Any questions for the petitioner?
If I may, Mr. Chair, were you aware of the comments that engineering, I realize you don't own the property, but you're certainly leasing it. Are you concerned about what they comment as far as getting in and out of the particular driveway to this location?
I don't think it's going to be an issue.
Thank you.
Closer to the mic.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this item? Any other, I look for commission action on item number 8 then.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion?
What action was moved for approval? I take it? Okay, very good. Just clarifying. Thank you.
All in favor signify by saying yes.
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 Opposed, the same sign. Motion passes.
Item 9, 3807, 2015, alternative site plan for an alternative buffer yard located at 600 West 41st Street.
the applicant here is Jim Heine, representing Billion Automotive. This is a project that probably looks pretty familiar to almost everybody. They are looking at constructing additional sales, display, and employee parking areas as part of their approved rezoning by the City Council back in October of 2015. An alternative landscape plan was conditioned on there that needed to be approved by the Planning Commission to essentially require them to do this site plan as submitted. The site does require a 22.5-foot buffer yard. Further landscape units are required at a rate of 50 per every 100 lineal feet of street frontage, for a total of 413 landscape units required by ordinance. Finally, a 4-foot berm and 4-foot fence, wall, or shrubbery is required as part of the buffer yard setback. Those are the existing requirements. This alternative plan will quickly run through what the applicant is proposing. He is proposing to increase the buffer yard from 22.5 to 25 feet. Further, the site has required the 413 landscape units. With this plan presented, they are proposing to provide 462, which is an additional roughly 50 units, in the form of existing trees and proposed trees and shrubs. Finally, they're showing a 4-foot berm with shrubs on the top, along with a 3-foot retaining wall. Is proposed along the perimeter of the existing parking lot, or the proposed parking lot on the west and north side. The proposed 25-foot buffer yard, 4-foot berm, and shrubs, and increased number of landscape units exceeds the level D buffer yard requirement as required in the zoning ordinance. If proposed, this alternative site plan is approved and the applicant can construct the parking lot with the buffer yard as presented here tonight. If this plan is denied, the applicant will have to provide the requirements of the Level D buffer yard, which include less of a setback and a decreased number of landscape units. Because the application has provided clarity to indicate the location, nature, and extent of the work proposed, and the proposed buffer yard exceeds what is required with the Level D buffer yard in the ordinance, staff does recommend approval of this alternative site plan. And I would answer any questions you may have.
Any questions for Jason?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Jason, to refresh my memory, we visited this issue in a meeting or two ago.
Yep.
Am I correct in assuming that Duluth Avenue is going to be vacated from 39th to 41st?
If you look at this plan, it already is vacated. Yep, it has been vacated, and that's why it's zoned. The zoning's over the top of it, so.
I drive on it.
It's still, until they construct that parking lot, it still probably looks similar to this, but it's actually part of their property now. Eventually, once they construct this parking lot, you'll see that it's at the north end of this on 39th Street. There's a jog now. You can't go straight through anymore.
Mr. Chair?
Look at that again.
Jason, I see that there's two islands just to the east of where Duluth Avenue used to be. Are there any other tree islands or other landscaping elements within that parking lot that are required under a normal condition like this type of a parking lot?
Yep, they will be required some interior islands. They are not shown all of them on here, obviously. This specific plan is just for the buffer yard requirements, but they're required, I believe it's one island for every 18 parking spaces, so there will be required to have some islands within the interior parking spaces of the parking lot.
By approving this plan, we are not accepting them from that requirement.
Correct, we're just approving the buffer yard area, so.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for staff? Thank you, Jason. Is the petitioner here?
Good evening, Paul Korn, Sayer Associates, 216 South Duluth Avenue, coming forward on behalf of Billion Automotive. We prepared the landscape plan for Billion Automotive, so I thought I'd come forward, answer any questions you may have regarding the plan. We feel it's a good plan that's going to provide a very nice buffer, very visually pleasing between the residential properties and the expansion project. So I guess with that, answer any questions you may have. Dave Billion, Jim Heine, and Norm DeHaye of Billion Automotive are also here if you have any questions specific to Billion.
Any questions for the petitioner? Thank you. Is there anyone from the audience that would like to speak on this item? Seeing none, I ask for a motion.
Move for approval.
Second.
Any discussion? I just wanted.
Yeah, it appears to me that they're going above and beyond what's required under this zoning, and I think that's a good thing.
It is. Very good. All right. All in favor of item 9 signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All opposed, the same sign. Motion passes.
Motion adjourned.
Second.
Just quick.
All in favor signify by saying yes.
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 Mr. Chairman, is this a precursor of what's going to happen when you're really the chair?
Yes.
We'll be done before we get started?
20 minutes.
Thank you.